I was depressed and suicidal. And that sort of led me into meditation. Obviously, I try to look for solutions, talking to therapists and psychologists and all of that. But what truly helped me was meditation and truly understanding how we create our own reality, our subconscious mind. And with that knowledge and alongside the knowledge of AI, what we do is we merge the subconscious mind of an individual or a team with AI. So we create a super intelligent version of a human or a team or an organization that helps them make daily decisions, find their true purpose in life, or in profession, create these like really unique ways to solve problems to get help them get to their goal like faster and easier. So
If you're enjoying the show, hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode. You'll get the latest on marketing, AI, and how to grow your business. It only takes 2 seconds and really helps the show grow. So please hit subscribe and then continue listening. Manuj, great to have you on the show. Thank you for making the time. You are an AI consultant, data scientist, and startup mentor, which we will get into all of that very shortly because I'm very excited to talk about that. But something that drew me in was your story. And I wanted to start kind of back at the beginning. You earned $2 a day at your father's factory. What was that like?
I mean, it was a unique experience. Just watching life so closely and immersed in like really hard backbreaking work. Um, but it also laid the foundation for the future life, like taught me the value of hard work, taught me the value of resilience, taught me the value of precision, because one of the key things that in a large kind of like in a very precise industry, in a factory where you don't have a lot of resources, you have to be very careful at every step of the way, because the final product that we built had a specification tolerance of about zero point 0.5 millimeters. So it has to be so precise, otherwise it will be rejected. And if we get a rejection on a larger batch of production, I mean, that will be a huge loss. So every step of the way, you had to be very, very precise and coordinate all the steps along the way to make sure that precision is maintained. So all of those things were like really valuable. But then going through that at that time was quite painful. And we learn these things later on in our lives. But why did I have to go through all that? And then it becomes clear later on that, oh, this is why you needed to learn this lesson, and you're getting ready for the next stage. And so that's how I'll put it, in a for people who are probably struggling with something right now, or whatever people are going through. But everything has a meaning in our lives. That's what I truly believe.
I can only imagine what it would have been like long hours, like low pay, obviously. What sort of factory was it?
Nuts and bolts.
Nuts and bolts. Okay, yeah. So precision's very important in that industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's so interesting and something that I think will put into perspective for a lot of people about, I mean, for me, just to share a bit of what I'm kind of going through at the moment is I've been reading these novels, these historical fiction novels, and it's been so helpful to me because I mean, I'm just addicted to them, but it's so helpful for me to see like how somebody else lived, what it was like to live through World War II or what it was being like to live through the Vietnam War or what have you. And I think like, hearing your story and hearing different people's stories, it's like you're right, like it's resilience building and it helps me appreciate like how much I have to be grateful for, as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, these stories are what connects us. Everybody has a story. Every human has a story. I think we just not able to recognize the strength of that story and share it in a way that sort of connects us. And the more people can share their story, the more they will find people. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that.
No,
Uh, uh, and yeah, I mean, sharing those stories can be a powerful way to build a community around you and just connect with like-minded people.
absolutely. I think it's like that saying, misery loves company, and just sharing hardship, sharing life together, I think is very important. Of like, oh, like we're not struggling on our own. Like everybody has struggle, everybody has challenge.
Yeah.
And so obviously you're not earning $2 a day anymore. What do you think was the biggest mindset shift that you had to make when going from $2 a day to like leading global AI strategy today?
But like it's a I don't know if I had a strategy in mind. The most important thing that I have found in my life is to follow what makes you happy and content and fulfilled.
Mhm.
So for me, when I found technology, I just fell in love with it because I saw how I can write some lines of code uh, on my computer and copy it. Back then it used to be like floppy disk. Most people may not even remember. We used to copy the code on a floppy disk and then go to each computer and copy it on those computers. But the effect was, as those people ran the software that I have written, they were able to solve some real world problem for themselves. So I saw that, okay, this technology enables me to like reach first maybe tens of people, then hundreds, then thousands, and then eventually millions and millions of people. And that was that is still very exciting for me. Very, it's a lot of fun. So it's like a hobby for me rather than doing work. So once you find something along those lines, and the work that I do now is also helping people like find their purpose, find their kind of passion, which which can be a very good source of income for them as well. And if they are already earning, how to optimize their purpose and align with their values, align with their life, and all of that. But yeah, I mean, finding that earlier on was a magic bullet for me, and I just fell into it because as we discussed earlier, I was going through some tough time. I was looking for alternatives, and then technologies just sort of like just landed in my lap, and I just fell in love with it. And so that is, I think, the secret. Everybody I talk to who is um who's doing really really well and they are at the top of their game, they have had like similar journeys where um they just like find something they are so passionate about that they will continue doing it even if they don't like see any traction, they don't make any money. And but the kind of paradox is, the more you do it, the more successful you become, because that's what you're meant to do anyways.
I think that's a really, yeah, cool point of finding something you enjoy, and also if it's something you're good at too. Usually they kind of go hand in hand, because if you enjoy something, you spend a lot of time doing it. You spend a lot of time doing it, you become very good at it. So that's been a really core shift in my life, of instead of doing things I think I should do. And obviously there's a time for that, like if you have to pay bills and stuff, but really tuning into like, okay, what does light me up? What does bring me joy? What do I find myself doing already, without being paid for it? And so I think that's a really interesting point. And so in terms of like working in the factory to working in software, like did you apply for jobs, or like what was that kind of bridge or transition process like?
Yeah, initially, I had to apply for jobs, work for free. In one instance, I actually had to pay to work, to get
Oh,
the
wow.
experience. So, there was like there was like a incubator of sorts where they said, "Hey, like you're a fresh graduate, you want to enter the IT industry and software industry, but you don't have experience. Like we'll run a program for you. We'll teach you how to build software, which we will sell the software, but you'll have to pay us." I was like, wow, okay, this is new. But so I remember I paid, like it had some good learnings, but then eventually I started finding like small little jobs here and there. And then I came to Canada in 1998. That was the dot-com boom time. So it was quite easy to get a job in software. So we built like we were part of a company which was like kind of like a predecessor of Amazon. So they were building like an online mall for different businesses. So it was a very cool idea, very very similar to what Amazon does today. But
Mhm.
then we went through the dot-com bust time where most of the companies kind of like bankrupt within very short period of time. So during that time, I lost four jobs continuously within a couple of years, and that's when I started started building my own company, started working with the other startups who were trying to build products. So yes, I applied for jobs initially. That's how you get your foot in the door, and
Mhm.
then once you prove yourself, start networking. I think one of the key things that I have learned in my career is like obviously you need to be good at your job, but you have to be really good at like communication and networking, make friends, and um, not to like not to be like kind of you know pushing your agenda forward, or thinking like what can I get from this person, but just be kind of helpful and share what you know, help other people, help other people regardless of any expectation of anything coming back to you, because when people feel that you provided value in their life, they remember it. They and they appreciated that, oh, okay, this person helped me, uh, even without expecting anything in return. And so these are some of the things that are soft skills, which I highly recommend people start to, focus on. And surprising thing is, like, even when you become very, very successful, a lot of people don't have those skills. But it makes a big difference.
No, I totally agree. And I think, especially in the age of AI, those soft skills are going to just become more and more important. People want more and more human contact and touch points. And I think I really love what you shared about just like the challenge of, going like it wasn't like, you went from $2 a day to like super uber successful multimillionaire. It was like, no, it was a series of stages and challenges and applying for jobs and getting laid off and starting a business. And it was emigrating to Canada. And so it's this process. And I think, so often people, myself included, we look at these people and think, oh, they're just these overnight successes. And like, wow, I want to do that. But we don't see behind the scenes the struggle, the challenge, the time and effort that goes into it. So I think that's really helpful for people to hear. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think there is any. I think that's a myth. Overnight success, or
Totally.
as you said, the price has already been paid. So
Mhm.
you just have to understand what is it that you want to achieve, and if you're ready to pay the price, and if you are, then yeah, I mean, the world is yours.
And I guess that comes back to what you mentioned about if you enjoy something and you're willing to do it for free just because you enjoy it and you want to learn and grow and all of this, then that will take you much further than someone who's just in it for the money, for
Correct,
sure.
correct, correct. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And so, in terms of you're obviously an AI consultant, how did you get into AI? Like, what excites you about AI? Obviously, you have a background in software development and stuff like that. So, why AI?
So, I want to clarify, like, besides, like, it's the consultant part, some people don't get it. So we are like AI practitioner we are AI engineers. So we actually kind of like understand the business aspect of what people want to do, and then we create customized solutions for businesses. It's not just we tell them, okay, use this tool or whatever. We actually build it. How again, when you're passionate about something, I'm passionate about technology itself. And so when you are always like trying to look for, okay, what is the latest trend, what is the new cool um, technology that we can incorporate into our solutions, all these latest things start to show up. So I started working with AI back in 2005, and most people don't realize that AI has been around since the 1960s in
Mhm.
different forms, and at different levels of power and impact. And in 2005, we started working on a project which created a personalized curriculum for every student in a classroom. So, the idea is that every student is at a different level of understanding of the topic, and some people need more help, some people need less help.
Mhm.
But in typical classrooms, everybody gets the same curriculum. But using AI, we were able to like really personalize the curriculum for each student, and that was patented as a unique invention, a technology, and it actually got bought out by another billion-dollar company, and it had a huge impact on many, many millions of students. So that was the first time I saw, okay, this like AI. technology is so powerful. It can really understand the human mind and personalize the experience. But then after that, we got involved in many other projects, like helping people with joint pains, helping students finish their degree program rather than dropping out of their program. Then one of the platforms that we built got mentioned by Obama and Bill Gates. So when we started seeing like this kind of impact, we saw that okay, this technology is now about to take over the world, and we started focusing more and more on AI.
That's cool. No, it's super interesting. I didn't realize it was, yeah, that had been around for that long, but even 2005, like talk about getting in on the ground floor. um, but yeah, it's super interesting that you could adjust the curriculum based on the students' learning. And what a really cool system, because obviously every child, every person learns differently at different paces. And so I just think that's a really cool application of AI beyond just say today, most people using ChatGPT, for instance. It's a very tangible application. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now with you designing AI solutions for companies, like what sort of businesses do you work with? What sort of AI tools do you create and develop for those people and businesses?
So right now, I'll give you a little bit of a background here. In 2011, 2012, I went through some dark period in my time and in my life. And I was depressed and suicidal, and that sort of led me into meditation. Obviously, I try to look for solutions, talking to therapists and psychologists and all of that. But what truly helped me was meditation and truly understanding how we create our own reality, our subconscious mind. And with that knowledge and alongside the knowledge of AI, what we do is we merge the subconscious mind of an individual or a team with AI. So we create a super intelligent version of a human or a team or an organization that helps them make daily decisions, find their true purpose in life, or in profession, um, create these like really unique ways to solve problems to get help them get to their goal like faster and easier. So it builds team culture, it builds resilience in organizations. It just has many ways it benefits, like even uh, with things like addictions and it's just like changing your identity from the inside out and helping you find the true success that you're looking for.
And so do you work mostly with like do you work with all different businesses with that solution, or do you work more in like the mental health space or yeah.
Not mental health, so when we work, this is pure business oriented kind of a solution. So when you ask what kind of businesses, see, we are very early in this sort of cycle of AI adoption. And in at this stage, most people who gravitate towards these kind of like new concepts are innovators and risk takers who are always like looking for a an additional edge to get ahead in competition. And when so those are the kind of people we work with, like they are open minded and
Like a lot of startup founders and things.
exactly.
Mhm.
And once they experience the benefits, then they obviously tell their friends and family, their network, and that's how technology gets adopted. And we are very very early in this AI adoption. So we're always looking for those innovators that can even if what I just said, some people may say, oh, this sounds like a little bit woo woo or woke, or it doesn't make a lot of sense to them sometimes,
Mhm.
or they may not realize, is this for me or not. But once you understand this is a universal like human experience, optimization of human experience, and we all are controlled very much by our subconscious mind. And there's a famous saying like humans only have access to 10% of our mind. But what about the rest of the 90%? So if people are open towards that, then they are a good candidate for us to work with them. And in terms of industry, in terms of like company size, it's kind of irrelevant, because it works at the human level. Like, your inner sort of um, thinking process, however it gets shaped, it's
Mhm.
optimizing that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think kind of you touched on this, but the human element of, whether it's a startup founder, for instance, the business is an extension of them. So it's almost like the better they are, and that's going to influence the whole culture of the company, like everything, obviously, top down CEO culture, all of that. So I think that's really cool that you're working on the human level, and even more interesting that you're using AI to unlock these deeper insights and deeper capacities within the human brain and within people, because I agree it's very much like, the mind is super powerful, and like what we think or what we imagine does come to fruition, statistically, just because we're more primed to look for those things and create those things and do the things to make those things happen. So it's kind of this flow on effect. So I think, yeah, it's super interesting that you're using AI to do that, like an AI tool to make people more human in a sense. Yeah, it's super
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
exactly.
Is that sort of how it works, or?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And so is it kind of like, do you have custom solutions? Do you adapt it depending on the person, or is it kind of like a one size fits all?
No, no, no. It's highly personalized. We are entering an age of hyper personalization. So every new business, every new solution, I always recommend people to not use cookie cutter solutions anymore, but personalize it. So I'll, give you some examples. Like, one person we work with, they are in day trading, stock trading domain, and so utilizing this, they were able to like kind of unlock the discipline that they needed to trade stocks every day. Another person had some addictions. They were able to like kind of like remove themselves from that. Then we are working with a company. They have people working for them from different cultures, different backgrounds, different languages. So when you have a mix of these kind of team members, communication becomes a challenge and team culture becomes a challenge. We are using AI to like create replicas, digital twins of each team member, and then assigning that AI as part of their team, because it knows about everyone. So now that AI team member can help coordinate and collaborate between the team members. So it's like using AI, as you said, using AI to enhance the human values, human experience, and it works like in very, very different fields in very interesting ways.
It sort of almost sounds like an AI agent or an AI clone where you sort of programming it with like the human's knowledge and skill set and experience, and then it's kind of taking that and then amplifying that with AI. Is that sort of how it works? Or
Exactly, exactly.
yeah, no, it's super interesting. And I think something that I think a lot of people will get a lot of value out of listening to and going, yeah, like, because that's kind of where we're at. It's like, how do we use AI to enhance ourselves, our skill set, our mindset, our business? Like, that's kind of everybody's trying to figure that out. And so I think it's really cool that you've developed this tool to do that. And I'm just curious, like, is it kind of like, how does it work? Like, what's the interface? Is it similar to, say, ChatGPT, where you talk back and forth? Like, how does the programming work, like, on a practical level?
Yeah, so the first step is, we ask people to collect a little bit of data on themselves. So
Mhm.
the focus for us is, most people collect data on their company, on their like numerical data or whatever. That's a logical aspect of our mind. That accounts for 10% of what we focus on, or what human life is based on. 90% of our human experience is based on our subconscious mind or our emotional mind. So we collect quite a bit of data on that. And once we have this data, whether it's an individual or a team or an organization, based on that we create a custom AI. So it could be like, as simple as a custom GPT, or in a more kind of controlled environment, we create a custom AI based on open source tools. And then we create it could be a simple chat interface, but what we have uh, kind of cracked is what are the specific areas of personality that needs kind of surgical optimization. So it could be something, people have childhood traumas, people have a lack of clarity in terms of their mission in life, their purpose in life, a lack of kind of self-esteem. um, you know uh, some people have like shadow work to do, which basically kind of like connects with self-sabotage tendencies. All of these aspects of human psyche, we can start to optimize them, and based on what the client is looking for, what is their need, we can either use a chat interface, or we create a custom app, or we create like a just a video chatting interface where people can just talk to AI. So it's all highly customized, highly personalized based on what the client is looking to do, and what is the best way to administer this, like we call it purified and refined AI. So how do we administer it in such a way that has the least resistance? So we also use music and storytelling and micro conversations and all of these modalities to really just kind of really understand the human, using the technology, creating a digital twin for that human or set of humans, and then purifying the AI based on the information that they provided, and then administer it back, like without any chips or without any injections, or like it's just like having a conversation with
Your digital
your
self.
subconscious mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's so
Exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's really good. It reminds me, I mean, I haven't used your tool obviously, but something I do use ChatGPT for is just to like kind of like bounce ideas off and be like, oh, this is going on in my life. Like, what do you think? Or I've got this conflict, or I'm feeling this emotion. And it's been a really good sounding board. And then some other tools I've been playing with is like, how would you respond if you were Buddha? Or how would you respond if you were Jesus Christ to me? Like, what advice would you give me, kind of thing? And playing around with different personas or different modalities. And it's been
Mhm.
really interesting because it really changes the feedback or the output that the AI gives you. And so I just think it's really interesting using AI as a self-improvement tool. And so what are some of the like tangible, measurable benefits that you've seen in your clients from using this?
So absolutely, the person who used it for stock trading, their trading performance went up within like 2 weeks. Another person who's running a financial services company, he had obviously signed up new clients within like 2 months. Her operational costs went down 40%. And the other company that we are working with for team culture, they started seeing like lower turnover, people becoming more efficient, obviously, but most importantly, they're more customer focused now. They are making less mistakes. So all kinds of benefits, tangible benefits in terms of saving money, making more money, saving time. But the intangible benefits have been like people are sleeping better, people are having deeper dreams, they are having deeper conversations. They are like people like consistently I get an feedback like, oh, I'm making more friends, people are noticing like what's happening to you, you feel different. And the biggest one, like I just got it like last week. I was working with a lady, and she's in her like late 20s, and she's had a neuromuscular um, kind of situation with her body where when she gets stressed, she she experiences a lot of uneasiness and like a lot of physical pain and stuff like that. So within 2 weeks, she was able to like kind of like rewire her brain, um, and start enjoying her life in a long time. Like she was always stressed out, didn't want to go out and meet people or or whatever. So within 2 weeks, like she sent me a note. Oh, I went out with my friends. I even had a couple of drinks. I was great. I was able to enjoy it. So all of these things are happening, and it's been really amazing to see the impact it's creating.
It's really cool. And I think that's something that I haven't really heard many people talk about is the impact that AI could have on our emotions, on our well-being,
Mm.
mentally and physically. Like that's crazy that this woman is starting to correct some of these physical ailments. And I mean, it makes sense because I think to some degree, like a lot of physical ailments are emotional based
Yep.
or are psychosomatic or mental or, what have you. So it's really interesting, yeah, to be able to use AI to kind of unlock some of these, like you mentioned, traumas and different patterns and start reprogramming things. And I think that's a really cool way to use AI that a lot of business owners and people don't fully understand or know. And so, like, what would you recommend to people, like, if they're, wanting to explore that more, and maybe, whether that's with your own tool, whether that's with ChatGPT, like, how can they start, like, experimenting with this and being curious?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm biased because I've done this research for decades. Like, I will also say, using ChatGPT is like, as a therapist, I noticed some challenges with that because it's designed to be overly agreeable. And what I've seen is some people who use ChatGPT for kind of like therapeutic purposes or as a counselor, if they have some negative beliefs, the ChatGPT will be happy to reinforce those beliefs,
Right.
and that's a kind of a dangerous thing to do.
Like it's an echo chamber kind of thing.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if I say, oh, this is not my fault, I blame the other person, ChatGPT is going to say, oh yeah, you are not at fault. They'll drop a little bit of hint like you should consider this, but yeah, I agree, this is not your fault. This is other people's fault.
Hmm.
And so the way that we do it is, again, we try to map truly your subconscious mind, and then using that raw data to not like pass any judgments or pass any kind of like reinforce negative beliefs. It's just basically amplifying the positives that you already have. Like, we all have all the solutions within us. It's just that they get hidden, they get lost, they get overpowered, overshadowed by the noise that we are surrounded with. So it's just a matter of like bringing that out and not try to like change you in any way rather than just optimize you.
Right.
Make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of how to use it, like, obviously get in touch with me and look, my LinkedIn, my personal website, manujaggarwal.com or tetranodal.com. Um, but if you want to like really understand this, I wish there was an easy way to say, but decades of research cannot be compressed in like 2 months or 1 month. People are using ChatGPT, which is great. They can use it to kind of get a sense of how this works. But if you truly want to go deep into your own psyche and your own consciousness, then I haven't come across anything other than like what we are doing. And maybe that the reason is because I've had life experiences which led me into the depths of human consciousness, and I understand how AI can really sort of like surgically optimize these points in our consciousness. uh I talk all over the world in very powerful rooms with people. Like, I just came back um from Austin, and in the room was this chief information security officer of Anthropic, which is the company behind Claude. They are the second largest competitor for OpenAI. So when I talk to these people at the top of AI food chain, none of these people are talking about like how does it impact our subconscious mind and how do you
Right.
really understand these finer points. So yeah, I mean, if this kind of work uh, kind of appeals to you, and it has huge business implications as well, not just optimizing your life.
Mhm.
Because if you're a startup founder, if you are trying to sign up new clients, if you're trying to find great hires that align with your mission, um, all of this is at the end of the day, it's coming from your mind. You conceive of that idea first, and then you put it into action. And if you refine that idea, and if you can get absolute clarity, and you get support in your decision making, like, it just it just puts rocket fuel into your rocket, and like you're getting results very, very fast.
Yeah, and I think it's something that maybe like you mentioned, they're not even sort of thinking about this yet, like the impact of AI on our subconscious, and it's something that is going to, I think, become more important as time goes on. And we're using these tools like every day and they become part of our, infrastructure, much like social media. I mean, in terms of scrolling, and you look at the impact that social media has had on attention spans, for instance, and how it's decreased. And then thinking about, okay, where's this dependency on AI going? And am I becoming codependent on it? Is it limiting me? Is it an echo chamber, telling me what I want to hear? Or how can I actually use this to grow rather than limit myself? And I think that's a really cool thing that a lot of people would benefit from considering and just spending some time thinking about, even if they don't use AI to do it, but even just thinking about it, like whether that's writing thoughts down or
Yeah.
asking questions about like, okay, where am I limiting myself, or where's my resistance, where's my
Yeah.
fear, because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
emotions drive us, and
Mhm.
thoughts drive us, and if we don't know what they are, we don't know what's holding us back. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You got it. You got it. It seems
Mm.
like you have done a lot of work in this already. So you
I'm very into emotion, yeah, emotional work, and I mean, I live in Peru, so it's
yeah.
the spiritual hub, I guess. And not that I'm a hippie by any means, but definitely, like yeah, I've gone down this journey, and I totally resonate in the sense of, the power that emotions and thoughts can have on our day-to-day life, whether that's the state we're in or how we approach something or our relationships. Like it's all the same thing. It's all interconnected. And so I guess to wrap up on our final question would be, for people listening, like how do they lean into AI and use it to help themselves rather than limiting themselves? Like what are some of the things that they can do practically to, yeah, like become leaders in it, but not, become biased to it, I guess, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I mean, look, I will say with wholehearted kind of confidence, then lean into it and don't be afraid, even if you become dependent upon it, because our life is dependent on technology. Like, we cannot walk
And
outside of
systems.
a, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we cannot live without electricity. We cannot live
Exactly.
without,
Like water.
the internet and all of that. So there's nothing to be afraid of. I will say, if you haven't started, you are already behind. So start using it right now. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at, and this is something, again, I will say, work on, follow people like myself, work with them or follow them, so that you can get a true sense of how to use it. We publish a lot of content on how you can start using it and how you can start aligning it with your human life. um, there's a lot of so-called AI expert. They're selling, oh, here's an AI prompt to write your, social media post and all of that. It just creates more noise. So imagine you become part of a million people who are using that prompt to share the exact thing that other million people are talking about. How is that going to help you? It's just you are setting yourself up as yet another replica, a carbon copy of another million
Mm.
people. So trying to understand how hyper personalization works, how you can customize this technology for your business, how you can reach wider audience, how you can get your name. I mean, this is another thing. I just, again, the conference I was speaking at, that was around GEO, meaning generative engine optimization. How do you uh, adjust your business and trajectory to start appearing in AI, because a lot of traffic is moving from Google to AI, and people are asking, "Hey, I want this recommendation. Can you, recommend me?" So if you're not looking at these changes, imagine, like, um, if you had a website which got ranked in Google back in 2002,
Mm. I'd be
right?
laughing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we are at that point, and plus exponentially more, because um technologies like Google and all of that, it took them a while for us to become part of our daily life, because it was early technology cycle. But now millennials, other younger folks who are growing up, they are growing up with social media, they are growing up with smartphones in their, like, I don't know, like fourth standard grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. So they know technology is part of their life, you know if you want to target those people, you really need to get a grasp on this if you don't want to fall behind.
No, I think that's, yeah, super important to just, yeah, be using it and, yeah, practice with it and just see what you can come up with. And I liked your point about hyper personalization. I think that that's super important for people to think about. How can I, customize this to my brand voice or to get what I want rather than, like you said, just being another carbon copy. So, yeah,
Exactly.
cool. Well, for people who want to know more about you and what you do, where can they find you online? I think you mentioned your
Yeah,
website.
just either Google my name. I'm easy to find. Find me on LinkedIn, Manuj Aggarwal, the same name for my website. I know it's a little bit difficult to pronounce, but if you just like
It'll be in the
my,
title. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
My company website is tetranoodle.com. Just reach out to me on any of these platforms. I'm easy to find. And let me know you heard me on this podcast. What are you trying to do every day? I am happy to help.
Amazing. Well, yeah, thank you for coming on. This has been a really fun conversation. And thank you, everyone, for listening.